So Dan, here we are in the Genesis GV60. Have I got the name right?
We're in the GV60. This is the Sport Plus.
Sport Plus.
Yeah, so the three versions of GV60: Premium, Sport and Sport Plus. The Sport and Sport Plus being all-wheel drive like this one is today.
Fantastic. So you've had to get the Sport Plus, of course, for this test drive.
Absolutely.
Good. So tell me, what do you love about this Sport Plus Genesis GV60?
Well, the great thing about the GV60 in general, no matter which of the three cars you go for, is it's a properly premium car. It feels fantastic. It is solid. The materials are amazing. You feel good getting into it, and you feel good looking back when you get out of it. It drives so well. Of course, being electric, it's instantaneous in terms of response, and lovely and quiet.
Indeed. And when you say response,
I mean, as you know from any EV, they all shift, but you press that and
golly gosh,
really goes.
That was amazing. I'm even surprised the cameras stayed where they were. That was generally amazing. So when one of your Genesis personal assistants is talking about this particular car, this particular vehicle model, what do you think are the highlights that they could talk about? I
think this car, one of the really amazing things about it is the architecture, and what that actually means is how fast it can recharge. So it's a long range car. The Premium can do 324 miles for a single charge, which is fantastic. But the real party piece is it can charge from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So by the time you've stopped for a coffee...
well, you're still in a queue really after 18 minutes.
You are,
let's be honest.
Yeah. So you're going to come back to probably a full battery, or at least a considerably longer range than you rolled up to the service station with. So for those crossing country, that's no problem.
So in terms of business contract hire or Genesis Finance business contract hire, I hope I've got that terminology correct. Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about what the GPAs can talk about in terms of the product.
Yeah, well, Genesis Finance business contract hire actually brings together quite nicely the whole Genesis difference. While the manufacturer takes care of making the ownership or the usership of the cars hassle-free as possible, the business contract hire side of things, again, reduces all of the administration and financial burden that you might get with a cash purchase. So that's where the benefits are really derived.
Fantastic. And in terms of an audience, we're generally looking at business users, CEOs, I suppose, those type of profiles. This solution would be ideal.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the three versions of GV60 help it appeal to a broader range of business users. So from those needing to do the long distances through to those enjoying a nice car.
Fantastic. And I guess when you look at all the finance products that are available to, let's say, a consumer, be it business or retail, I mean, there are so many nowadays, aren't there, at the end of the day, and terminologies like PCP, are always being bandied about. So maybe it's interesting, Dan, to hear from you. We've got BCH, but how does that differ to what's out there already?
Yeah, well, I mean, Genesis Finance offer the full suite of loan and lease products. So as you say, we've got PCP, PML, personal motor loan, and we've got the contract hire products, personal and corporate, so PCH and BCH, business contract hire. The real difference from PCH to a PCP is that with a PCH you have a fixed period of time in which to use the vehicle, and at the end of that you give it back. A PCP defers actually some of the cost of owning the car toward the end of that contract, and at the end of that, or perhaps even during it, the customer has a choice of retaining it,
doing what they want,
changing for another car, buying it. Yeah, it's the full flexibility on that side.
Fantastic. So, but obviously now we've got BCH, business contract hire. So, what would be the benefits then of a consumer, a possible businessman, business owner, taking on BCH? What would be the benefits?
The real benefit of BCH to the business user is reducing the burden on them. So, compared to the cash purchase, it takes away the administration and negotiation and actual cash flow impact that a cash purchase has. Instead, you get fixed monthly payments for a known set period of time, and at the end of that, you simply return the car back. You don't need to worry about the depreciation of the car or how you dispose of it. It's all taken care of with Genesis Finance Business Contract Hire.
I mean, that makes life so easy, doesn't it?
It does. That's the whole idea.
So tell us a little bit about impact on VAT.
Yep, for BCH, for a VAT registered company leasing the vehicle, they are able to reclaim up to 50% of the VAT on the finance rental, where there's private use of the car as well as business use. And on the maintenance rental, actually the company can reclaim up to 100% of the VAT on that.
So in terms of getting the advice, though, I guess it's always wise to seek advice from their own accountants rather than, I mean, we're not legally or sort of trained that way, are we? So.
No, absolutely. For any advice around VAT, personal or company taxation, best checking in with your accountant. Things change, so they'll have the latest information available.
Fantastic. So when could a GPA sort of bring up the topic of business contract hire, do you think, to the possible customer?
I think possibly as soon as it's recognised that the customer will be buying it through their business or for their business. They may be looking at a cash purchase or other finance options, but actually business contract hire is typically a very popular option for financing a business vehicle, and is something that a lot of business users will already know to an extent and possibly be quite familiar with. So the benefits of the Genesis GV60 tied into that product can make it actually a very compelling proposition. So well worth discussing early on. And
I guess it's also about assessing needs and asking the right questions, and to make sure that we identify that BCH could be the right product for them.
That's right. Yeah.
How are you feeling about the car, Dan?
The car's great.
You're smiling like anything.
Yeah, it's a lovely thing to drive. Very peaceful, very easy. And yeah, looking forward to some nice roads a bit further ahead, actually.
Any tips for test driving this car?
Any tips?
Pull something out from the Dan book of tricks. What would you suggest we show a customer on a test drive that maybe doesn't revolve around the boost function? That I'm sure would be fantastic.
I think once you get over the boost function, actually one of the things I do really enjoy with any electric vehicle, but particularly how well the GV60 does it, is the energy regeneration.
Okay.
So perhaps unusually we have flappy pedals on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
You don't normally see that in a car without a gearbox.
Sure.
Normally for an automated gearbox. In this instance, it is controlling the level of regeneration when you lift your foot off the throttle. So
sure, that is almost braking, isn't it?
That it is in effect a braking force. Yeah. You can actually drive the car using just one pedal. Only perhaps using a brake pedal for an emergency stop, or just for the final few meters of stopping the car.
That's scary though, isn't it? I mean, that does change how we drive.
It does, but actually I think the benefit is it makes you look quite far ahead, because ultimately the better you do with it, the further you're going to go, the more range you leak out.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
how does the steering feel in terms of directness?
Steering's great. There's a really good speed to the car. It feels agile, but planted. It's not nervous. So it gives you great confidence to actually really steer the car, but maintain a really planted, sure-footed feeling.
And as a businessman who's just taken BCH, for example, can I plug myself in and get everything I need in terms of connectivity?
Absolutely. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all in there as standard. But actually the system Genesis use, the infotainment system, is really good. I personally I have an Android phone, I don't use Android Auto. I much prefer using the native system. Yeah, it's really slick, and as you can see, integrates really well with the driver's cockpit and the whole 12.3-inch display there.
Wow. Now, one interesting topic that comes up a lot is range anxiety. Now, in terms of finding charging stations, I'm guessing you can see that on the navigation system.
You can. So in terms of finding charging stations, the navigation system makes it very straightforward. You can see the nearest charging stations around you and plan your route to them. You can see what sort of power they deliver, what the cost is, if any, and actually
if any. Wow.
Some are free to use still,
yes.
Believe it or not.
Amazing.
Not many.
No.
But
I say nothing in life is free.
No, apart from the odd pod point charger, perhaps.
Wow. Okay, that's great. So absolutely. So you don't have to worry too much. I guess if you put your navigation address in there, even if you know where you're going, you can still see in case you need charging stations.
That's right, it can find chargers along the route, and you can then plan your route to get to that charge. You take a heat of electricity and carry on.
Can you see which ones are well, I guess they're all DC, aren't they, in the main?
For public charging, the ones that you actually want in terms of fast charge, will be DC, but it will bring the AC ones up as well. So perhaps if you are
having a long lunch,
or somewhere for a day or half a day,
sure,
a meeting perhaps off-site, and there's an AC charger, we can find those as well, and enjoy charging publicly.
Fantastic. So sort of as we bring our conversation to a close, what's your sort of key message when it comes to Genesis Finance business contract hire? So just give us a closing message.
I think for me, the Genesis GV60 is a bit of a no-brainer on business contract hire. You've got the Genesis difference, the manufacturer really taking care of the customer in terms of having a hassle-free ownership or usership of the car, and then the Genesis Finance business contract hire takes away all of the burden, the administration, the cash flow impact that a cash purchase would have. There's no worry about vehicle disposal or depreciation. We take care of that. So it makes a very, very straightforward driving proposition in a car that you really want to drive. So a bit of a no-brainer, I would say.
I think that's a great closing message for the GPAs.
If you'd like to know more about business contract hire, please speak to a Genesis personal assistant.